Panasonic just released a brand new camera, the S9. In this video, I'm gonna break down the specs, the features, and most importantly, answer the question, is this the right camera for you? The S9 just dropped a few days ago, and we're kind of breaking down whether it's a good buy, maybe not a good buy for you, and who the right audience is for this camera. First things first, the sensor. The sensor on this camera is elite. It is the same sensor as the S5 Mark II, so it's a full frame sensor and it allows open gate recording, which means it's not restricted to just a regular DCI 4K or 6K even, but it has a full 3:2 readout, which means if you want to crop into different aspect ratios later, you're not starting with that video crop, you're starting with the full 3:2 frame. This is a video focused channel, so yes, the S9 can do stills, 24 megapixels, very sharp, but we're gonna focus on video because that's what we talk about here. As far as video goes, the codecs and the readouts are really high level. The S9 can do up to 6K video at 30 frames per second. It can do 4K video, 422 10-bit at 60 frames per second, and then up to 180 frames per second at lower resolutions like HD. Now, if that was super jargony and you have no idea what I'm just talking about, obviously we're talking resolutions. So 6K is higher resolution than 4K. 4K is 4 times the resolution of HD, 1080p HD. So at this point, 4K is not the cutting edge. When the GH5, GH4 came out by Panasonic back in 2015 or 14 and 17 respectively, 4K video in a non-cinema camera was a big deal, but now 4K is pretty ubiquitous. So where's the edge? Well, the edge is higher end codecs and color. It's pretty complicated to explain 422 versus 420 as far as what that is about. So maybe see another video about that because I don't want to go into too much detail on it here. But what's easier to explain is 8-bit versus 10-bit. Essentially what we're talking about is how many colors can the camera reproduce. When you go to 10-bit color, you're exponentially increasing the number of options for combining colors. And I think you get over 1 billion colors when you do 10-bit. And so what you have is a lot more shades in roll-offs in like the sky or in the darkness behind you. You're not going to have banding that's as obvious, and then skin tones are smoother and more lifelike when you have 10-bit color. So those are the main areas where that actually matters. The other thing that matters is 10-bit color does a lot better job when you're shooting in log, and you can shoot in log in the S9. So if you want to go through that workflow, shoot in 10-bit 422 and shoot log, you can really work this color in your editor to be almost anything you want. What you can also do in the S9 is if you're shooting 8-bit or 10-bit, it doesn't matter, is you can burn in a LUT inside of the camera. There's a bunch of built-in LUTs, and you can actually download LUTs from the new Panasonic app that goes with this phone so that you can make your own or borrow some or buy some from other creators that you really like the look of. And you'll burn that in camera so that when you're pumping it out, you don't have to really do any color grading or correcting. It's ready to go. A couple more quick details about the actual video capabilities is that this does take a single SD card. And so you're gonna wanna be able to shoot up to 200 megs per second, which means you're gonna have to get a V90 card. Essentially, that's the most expensive and fastest type of SD card out there. Everything on the S9 is designed to be portable, including the footage. And so that's why we're burning in LUTs. There's an MP4 Lite, which is a low res, highly compressed type of video that is able to go to your phone super quick if you want to get a quick upload and don't care about it looking super cinematic necessarily. There's 14 stops of dynamic range, which is really pretty dang good for the price. And again, all those other cinema features like log and built-in LUTs, and 5 stops of internal IS, meaning that if you're shooting handheld, it's going to compensate for quite a bit of camera shake without you needing to buy or use a gimbal. So there's a lot to like inside this camera. Couple other quick features. There's 1 battery slot, which is pretty standard, but you can run it USB-C power. So you can even plug into an external battery, or you can charge it while it's on. That gives you a lot of flexibility. USB-C also lets you transfer data a lot faster than micro USB used to. So that's a huge plus. Again, this camera is really designed to get things in and out really fast, to get things posted from your phone straight online without doing a lot of editing. And then Panasonic's really stepped up their autofocus game in the last couple of years, and they're putting that technology in the S9. So that's been my biggest complaint with Panasonic, other than their low light performance with their old Micro Four Thirds cameras. But now that they've got full frame and they got better, autofocus, it's still not going to be probably as fast or as good as Canon and Sony, but it's at least comparable, which is a huge upgrade if you want to use this camera for run and gun, or especially if you're vlogging and you need to make sure your face stays in focus. This is going to be a big upgrade. So what's the catch then? Like, why isn't this the best camera ever made? Because it sounds like it's got plenty of video capability. It's got lots of portability. It's really not that expensive. It's only $1,500 for the base, and there's, full frame for Panasonic. That is kind of been their new, the last couple of years, focus. And you can get some pretty decent lenses for their stuff, or you can use an adapter and use Canon lenses if you want to. So what's the catch? Well, there's one thing that they're not going to tell you about right away, and it's this. There's a 15-minute recording limit in 4K. This really shouldn't be that surprising, especially if you remember the Canon R5 that came out a few years ago that had like super top-line codecs and sensor readouts, but overheated after a few minutes because it also didn't have a built-in fan. There's no way that a camera this tiny can shoot at that high of resolutions for long. Okay, so who is this camera best for? I think a couple of audiences. One is if you're a vlogger or content creator who's really new and likes to be really mobile, and you've been shooting on a high-end iPhone or other smartphone, this is going to let you up your game without spending a ton of money, needing a bunch of equipment, and not having to get into the whole complex editing and high-end laptop deal where you're doing a lot of grading. It lets you really shoot it in the camera, have it not look like it's shot on a point and shoot, and still get it online without doing a lot in between. So I think that's a huge advantage for simple content creators who are not looking to do so much cinema stuff, but are, again, run and gun and vlog style videos. The other group that this may work for is if you're running Panasonic cameras now and you want to add another camera that has a similar color, and you want to stay in the Panasonic family. You could put this as a B or C camera for you if you are doing kind of documentary or interview work. The catch is that you're probably going to have to attach an external recorder and kind of run HDMI out into something like an Atomos Ninja or something like that to get around that 15-minute limit, because you can run the camera for an indefinite period. It's just when you hit record that you're going to run into trouble. So you could do that. Again, I wouldn't do that unless you also do vlogging or kind of basic content creation on the go, and you're going to use the camera for that. Otherwise, there's better B camera options out there that aren't so limiting. Overall, I think this is a really valuable camera to add to the lineup. It's a great entry-level camera. Compared to the entry-level cameras of 7 or 8 years ago that I got into, this can do a lot of awesome stuff. You're going to be able to shoot some amazing B-roll. You're going to be able to shoot really high quality, A camera stuff for your vlog or for whatever you're thinking of creatively. It's just not going to work for those longer form weddings, documentaries, or kind of longer course creation stuff. And if that's not you, no big deal. This is a good camera for you to look at. Check it out. Links in the description below. And then, as always, if you're looking to get better at either filmmaking, business, or both, Profit in Pixels is for you. If you got value out of this video, make sure you like and subscribe so other people can find it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.